Welcome back to another of my YouTube video tutorial series. I am Christoph Fraser. In today's video, I will be exploring the move command. Of course, you should be aware that move is one of the basic command. Basic and extremely important. Alright. So here I have an object which I will be using as our model. Down here is my makeshift command bar, and it is critically important that you read the command bar before, during, and after each step of a drawing. Not paying attention to the command bar is synonymous, or it's similar to walking with your eyes blindfolded. This is very important. You cannot effectively draw without reading the command bar, and not just in the beginning. You need to read the command bar at the beginning, before an operation, during, and at the end. With each click of the mouse, the command bar will change. Now, say for example, we wish to move this object to a different location. The shortcut key for move is M. So you type M, enter. And something which is important to know for beginners is that you don't need to bring the crosshair into the command bar and click for whatever action that you typed goes there to go into that section. It doesn't matter where the mouse is. Once everything that you type goes directly into the command bar. It is automatic. Okay, I noticed that beginners, they tend to want to bring the mouse down here, bring the cross here down here, and click onto to create a cursor inside here. For AutoCAD, there is no need to do that. Okay, with that being said, let us move on. So to move this object, we're gonna type M followed by the enter key or the space bar. The space bar works just as the enter command. Now, once you have done that, you will see a bold move pops up here, which will then ask you to select an object. It is critically important to note that once you move to the object and left click with the mouse, this object will turn blue. Please note that even though this object turns blue, the object is still not selected. You must go ahead and press the enter key once, or the space bar. Okay? It is critically important. Critical. And I've seen this happening over and over where beginners, especially, they're drawing, they click onto the object turns blue, but they aren't paying attention to the command bar. This should change to specify a base point. So once this turns blue and you're seeing move, copy, or whatever command you have selected, select object. It will say select object. You need to click the enter key. When this turns blue, what this is basically saying is that hey, you have selected that object, or you intend to move this object. Do you wish to select any other object? Yes, because you could choose to move 2 or 3 objects at once. So each object that you left click on will turn blue. At the end, you will then need to click enter to tell the computer that, hey, look, these are the 1, 2, or 3 objects that I need to move. Once that is done, the command bar will ask you to specify a base point. A base point is a point that you will be using to move the object by. Okay? See, for example, or it is a point that will align, you want to align or snap onto some other point. Okay? Say for example, I wish to move this object from here to this point here, up here. I could choose I could choose anywhere as a base point on the drawing. I could even choose some place on the screen as the base point. If I choose here, same distance will be maintained everywhere I go. All right. So if I click here at this point, wherever I move, that distance will be maintained anywhere that I go. All right. So it is very important to take note of that. Now, say for example, I wish to move this object from here to fit into this corner. I must choose this point. I must click at this point here, left click here, because I want this point to snap onto this point up here. Yeah, and that will, so I would first click here, left click, I would then left click this point, then I would drag and snap onto this point. And this will automatically snap onto that point, right? In like manner, if I wish to move this object to, say for example, this side, now the base point location will have to change. We cannot use this point as the base point because we will not be able to snap this point onto this point right here. Okay, so in this case, when it says specify the base point, again, the base point is a point that you click, the point that you want to snap onto some other point. So I would left click here. So let's go again. I now wish to move this object from here to point B. I would first type M, followed by the enter key. I would then left click on the object. When the object turns blue, I would then click the enter key when the command bar says move select object. And again, note that move is the command. If you want to copy an object, this would be copy. If it's rotate, you're rotating, this would be rotate. So it would be rotate, select object, copy here, then select object. In all the cases, you must select the object, all right? So I go up here and I left click on this object, or it could be a case where you need to left click here and drag, left click and bang. It could be, if you need to select the entire object, you might need to left click up here. And again, remember, when you're selecting an object, you must ensure that if this point should be protruded, is extended out, it doesn't cut into the joint. In other words, you must choose a point where there is space here and space there, because this here is where the rectangle will form from here down, and you will need 2 points. So we left click here, then we go down, left click down here. So upper left, lower right. This will be selected. Now, when this turns blue, remember that you must press the enter key or the space bar to select the object. Note briefly, a highlighted object is not a selected object. And I've seen this happen thousands of times with new students, all right, or persons who are new to AutoCAD. So when object turns blue, it doesn't mean that it is selected. The computer is telling you that, hey, this is one that you intend to select. Remember now that you can choose to select 1, 2, 3, or 4 objects. All right. So once you press that enter key or the space bar, this will change. This will say specify the base point. Now I wish to move this object from here to this point here, B. Now I can't use this point because this point is over to the right. This is now to the left. So I will need to determine if I want to use this point here as a base point or down here as a base point. Say for example, if I use here as a base point, yes, note what will happen. I would come up here with my cross here, left click here, left click here. It will then ask me to specify the next point. So I would left click here, then I would move. As I move, this will move as well. And as I move closer to this, you should see a green box popping up. I would then left click here. Once you left click here, this would automatically snaps there. And please note that it's the base point that will snap onto this point. Yes. So if you want this object to be up like this, you would need to select a lower point here. Yeah. So if I had selected here as the base point, the object would snap here, and the larger section would be above. So these are factors that you must consider and you must be aware of for you to be able to effectively copy, or in this case, move an object. All right. Say for example, I wish to move this object to this point C here. All right. Again, I'll go to M, enter key, click object, then specify my base point. Click object, then my enter key to accept the object that I intend to select. It will then ask me to specify the base point. Now, I will need to determine if I want to use here as if I use here as a base point. If I use here as a base point, the object will align here. If I use here as the base point, the object will align out here. Yes? So I will now need to decide where I want to use as the base point. I could use here as the base point as well, which means that this point would align with that next point that I click. Okay? I could use here. As a matter of fact, I could use anywhere on the screen as a base point. So I will now need to determine where I want to use as a base point, which is critical. All right. Now the last one. Say for example, I wish to move this object to this point here. I would type M, enter. Again, select object, enter. Choose here as my base point. Then I would come up here, click this point here to align this here. And it's very, very important. And it's just as that. And so again, guys, that is basically all that there is from, well, not all from moving an object, but the most important one. We could also move an object by specifying the X and the Y value. So look out for my next video. In my next video, I'll be showing you how to move an object by using displacement, basically. Again, guys, peace out. Practice becomes perfect. You don't have to be good to practice, but you must practice to become good. Love you.